Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Mueller. Today, we will be reading a book that reminds me of what we've been reading about and thinking about this week. We've been reading and thinking about learning new things. This book will be hearing about what some boys and girls learn their first year in kindergarten. This book is called Look at Us. It's an informational text. It gives us information about one thing, one topic. That topic is what these boys and girls learned in their kindergarten class over the year. Look at Us by Isabel Campoy. What did Isabel Campoy do for this book? That's right, she was the author. She wrote the book Look at Us. As I read, be looking and listening for some of our high frequency words, the sight words that we've been learning this week. Look at us. We had a very busy and fun year in kindergarten. Our teachers took lots of pictures of us, and we made this book. We hope you like it. Who is this book about? Does this picture give you a clue? That's right, it's about these boys and girls. Who do you think took this picture? It was their teacher. The word said, our teachers took lots of pictures of us. So I know that this picture is probably one of the pictures that the teacher took of these boys and girls. This is the first day of kindergarten. We were a little bit scared. We didn't know anyone in our classes yet. How did these boys and girls feel on the first day of kindergarten? They were a little bit scared. The word said they were a little bit scared. And if you look at the picture, you can see their faces also show some of them look a little bit nervous or scared. We felt excited when we got off the bus. How did you feel on your first day of school? Thinking back, do you remember how you felt on the first day of school? Were you scared or nervous? Were you excited? Or maybe a little bit of both? Did anyone see one of our high frequency words on this page? That's right, off. When we got off the bus. So this boy is getting off of the bus and he feels excited. There were lots of things to do and learn. Some things were hard, but we didn't quit. This is a picture of Daisy, our hamster. And here's their class pet. What's their class pet's name? Daisy. She's a hamster. Now remember, this whole book is mostly about what a group of kindergartners learned over the year. Listen for details on the next pages to learn more about what they did over their kindergarten year. We learned to write. First, we learned to write our names. Then we learned to write other letters and words too. We learned our shapes and how to count. What did you learn in math? What details did you hear that told you more about what these boys and girls learned in kindergarten this year? Did you hear that they learned to write? That's a detail. It tells us more about what they learned in kindergarten. Do you remember any other details that you heard on these pages? I heard that they learned to write their names and then other letters and other words. On this page, I can see on the picture that they're doing math. They learned shapes and how to count. We learned some of those things too, didn't we? And we learned a lot of other things in math. Listen for more details on these pages. We learned about science too. We studied rocks, bugs, and other things in nature. We learned about water turning into snow or ice when it is very, very cold outside. We learned that ice and snow melt when it gets warmer. I wonder if you can remember one detail about what these boys and girls learned in kindergarten. Did you say that they learned about science or rocks and bugs? Maybe you said they learned about water turning into ice and snow. Those are details. They're all about what they learned in kindergarten, but they tell us more. Did anyone see a high frequency word on this page? I saw it on this sentence at the beginning. We learned about science too. That's right, too. Like also. We also learned about science. Our teachers read lots of books to us this year. What are some of your favorite books? Did you see another high frequency word at the very beginning on this page? Our. That means the teacher, that's ours, our teacher. We learned to read some of our books. We had fun reading our favorite books over and over again. I remember reading some of my favorite books over and over again this year. Do you remember? What were some of your favorite books? This reminds me of our library at school. Maybe you remember being in the library with Mrs. Moy this year. Here we are drawing and painting. We did many projects this year. We are glad that we can show them to you. I heard a high frequency word, show, on this page. What are some other things that boys and girls do in kindergarten? Remember, kindergarten is what this book is mostly about, and the details tell us more about what they do in kindergarten. This page says we have good artists in kindergarten. On these two pages, we heard more details about the drawing and painting and artists in kindergarten. Did you learn how to be a good friend this year? We did. We learned how to share and how to help each other. It's important to be a good friend. Did you notice that the author of this book has been asking us questions on some of the pages? At the end of this sentence, it's not a period, it's a question mark. Why do you think the author put a question mark at the end? She's asking us a question. Why do you think an author would ask you a question? I think she wants us to think about what we've been doing in kindergarten and to think more about what she is writing in this book. We also learned about people in our community who help us. What community helpers do you know? And I see on this page 2 different community helpers. Can you name what these community helpers are called? Did you say a policeman and a fireman? Those are 2 community helpers. We talked about people in our families. We found out that families are the same and different. And I see all kinds of different families on this page. What details do we learn about on these pages? We learned that these kindergartners learned about community helpers and families, different kinds of families. Good job. We took a field trip to an apple orchard last fall. We picked apples and tasted fresh apple cider. Did you take any field trips this year? Did you see this high frequency word? Take. Did you take any field trips this year? Oh, and that's a question. I know because it has a question mark. Did you take any field trips this year? Lots of visitors came to see us this year. They told us stories, played music for us, and put on plays. Why do you think these two pages are put together in this book? I wonder why the author did that. I'm thinking that maybe because both of these pages tell us details about things in kindergarten that are special. This one is about field trips, and this one is about special class visitors, like the music teacher and a dance teacher, or a teacher who taught them to put on plays. So these are special things that happen maybe only once in a while. We put on a play too. Our families came to see us. We were so proud. What did these students do for their parents? They put on a play. That means they gave a performance. And it looks like, looking at this picture, and it says snow, I'm thinking that this performance was probably a play about winter and the snow. We learned to play and laugh together. We are so glad we have these pictures to show you. We hope you liked looking at our pictures as much as we did. Thanks for visiting us. How do these students change over the year? They get bigger. Maybe they become friends with each other. They learn many things, right? How do you think they feel at the end of kindergarten? That's right, they look like they feel happy. I can see in the picture that they're smiling and they're hugging. That shows me that they feel happy and excited at the end of kindergarten. And that's the end of Look at Us. Remember, this is an informational book. In this book, I learned all about these boys and girls and their kindergarten class. I wonder what a book written by your class would say. I know we've all been in kindergarten this year, but the details of Mrs. Mueller's class, or Mrs. Ryan's class, or Mrs. Mueller's class might be different, right? We could all write our own book with different details that tell us about what we learned in kindergarten. I can't wait to hear what you learned in kindergarten this year. Have a good day.